Okay, and we're live here.
Oh,
A
okay.
nice calm night here with the Q&A&Critique number 90, the big 90. It is currently 1 in the morning in UTC, which means all of Europe is asleep at the moment. And it is now currently locally 2000. And at our special guest, he's a nice Saturday early morning, 9 in the morning. We're here with our special guest, Blenderboi. The Blenderboi has been a very cool developer that I've been keeping an eye on for some time and talked in the past before. He's even given me an affiliate link to one of his add-ons. And I've been using one of them and a couple of others that I've been saving up to use. But I haven't had the chance yet. But I've had a closer look at all of his work and it's amazing stuff. It's very well presented and very well designed. The user experience is very clear. His publicity is on point. His documentation is great. His consistency with his work is excellent. So I'm really happy to share tonight with you, Blenderboi. And I would love to get to know more about you. So the honor is mine, and I would like to see how are you today? How is your morning today?
My morning is okay, I guess. I had breakfast and well, basically I'm just waiting for this stream. Like this Q&A critique.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, with every week we do these Q&As with other artists and other people and we talk about different topics. Sometimes we share art tips. Usually at the latter half of this interview, we look at the people's art here in the Bforartists Discord server. So I'll be more than happy to share this with you. And also at the end of today, I'll be also announcing a little bit of a development announcement concerning Bfor 3.5.0.
Mm,
But that comes at the end. All
Okay.
right. So what did you have for breakfast actually? And what side of the world are you in at the moment?
Oh, I'm from Malaysia, which is in Southeast Asia. Uh, if you don't know where Malaysia is, it's basically next to Singapore.
Yeah, yes, I know. That's
Yeah.
good.
Uh,
I
yeah.
was close. I
So,
was close maybe 10 years ago. I
oh,
didn't quite
okay.
get there.
Yeah. So, mm,
That's good. Okay. And
yeah.
so what do you do at the current what do you do in your present day at the moment?
I basically, well, previously I was doing like basically Blender add-ons full time. That's why I managed to create all these add-ons. But nowadays I'm basically I got a day job now, so unfortunately I'm no longer doing this for full time. But I still try to work on it on weekends right now for Blender add-ons.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what's your full-time job at the moment?
My full-time jobs, unfortunately, is totally unrelated with 3D stuff. Is um, working on documents and stuff. Typical office job.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. But it pays the bills,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I've noticed that a lot of your
Mm.
add-ons, you've got it very well organized. GitHub, you have a website with all of your add-ons there. You also have add-ons on Gumroad and Market. So what's it
Yeah.
like maintaining your add-ons on places?
Uh, the website and GitHub is a more recent thing. Previously, I mostly only hosted on Blender Market and Gumroad when my add-on wasn't free. But now it's free, so I thought it would be nice to have a place to for people to download the add-on more easier. So I created this Blenderboi website so that for those who want to use my add-on, they can just see the list of my add-on and just click the download button instead of going through the Gumroad. Because if you want to download from Gumroad, you need to create an account and you need to go through quite a lot of stuff. So it will be much more convenient to download it from the little website or GitHub. The main thing is it's hosted on GitHub. Even the website is hosted on GitHub. So it's kind of like the extension, just a better presentation of the add-ons. But my add-ons is like still like a quote unquote paid on Blender Market for those who like want to like support me, or if they want to use Blender Market to like have all their add-ons in one place. So that's for those. And for the one that got my add-on on the Blender Market, they still have access to the older stuff, while in GitHub and the Blenderboi website. Well, Blenderboi website, you only get the latest one, and the GitHub, you get my add-on that after I start to make my add-on for free. So yeah, and as for maintaining it, nowadays I don't really update my add-on as much unless there's like a bug report. So so I don't think there's too much need, and most of it is hosted. The main add-on is hosted on GitHub anyways. I just need to upload the files on the Blender Market and Gumroad when I made an update. And for the website, the link is directly to GitHub. So there's not too much work also over there.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So you mentioned that your add-on used to not be free and now they are. Could you tell me more about this? What happened?
Oh, it's actually a impulse decision, because I got a job, and then I couldn't maintain my add-on full time anymore. Previously, whenever there's a bug report, I would fix instantly, but now I have a day job, so that is not very possible. I can only work on it on weekends, so it would like I think it's better for an add-on to be free like that. And well, for some of the add-on, especially like Frame Ranger, sometimes like my friends or someone else ask for like help or something, I often forgot that my Frame Ranger is a paid add-on. So it's like I think about like you can just use this, and then I realize it is paid. So if it's free, then it's more convenient for most people. But yeah, the downside is I do get quite a big cut on my income. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing I'd like to know. How did you begin getting into these add-ons? How did you
Oh,
start?
so for Blender add-on, the main thing is, well, when I was in like a university, I studied animation. And then I was that one guy that uses Blender while everyone else uses Maya. And so during my internship, when I was using Blender, well, I got into Blender Market, and I actually bought a lot of add-ons. And so I thought, what if I can my motivation on creating Blender add-on is motivated by money, actually. So I did create add-on at first to make money. So I bought a lot of money from Blender Market, and so I thought, well, I could make some money by creating add-ons. And there are some function that I think it will be helpful for myself as well, where I really wish Blender have. So I just start to create them. And then at first it was like really difficult to get into because I'm quite new in this, right? So everyone's got to start somewhere. And I really got the opportunity to start figure out how to make a Blender add-on when I was in internship. The last few, it was because of COVID, it became a remote job. Like it becomes a work from home due to COVID. Like the first day I went to the office, and the second day we have a lockdown, so we have to work from home. And then the final last few weeks of my internship, I don't have the company doesn't have any job for me to do, so I ended up just start to write add-ons, and ever since then I managed to write my first, my second, my third, and it becomes more and more easier. and at some point, I write add-on for fun or like just speed run it for fun, because it is writing Blender add-ons is actually quite fun. Because if you write like just raw Python code, well, you don't have anything cool to see. You only see the console, right? And when you write the code inside Blender, you can see actual 3D stuff actually doing something. So that
Yes,
is
that is
very,
satisfying. You're right.
yeah, yes, it's very satisfying. And yeah, I learned a lot from uh, if you see the Blender channel. I think there's like a video for scripting for developers on the official Blender. They created a video that really helps a lot for me to get started in creating Blender add-ons. And also another YouTube YouTube called YouTube channel called Duckfall. I learned a lot from there as well. Yeah, Blender developers. That's like
Oh, wow.
the scripting for artists, I think. Yeah, Duckfall have a lot of good tutorials on how to create Blender add-ons. So
A
yeah,
good tip.
yeah, a lot of things I learned from there, from Duckfall, and that two videos plus um, basically the Blender API as well as the console. Like a lot of a lot of the thing I learned is basically just go to the console, type bpy.data. And then just spam tab to see how does the API looks like.
That's a
Yeah.
good way of doing it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
even
This is the playlist that I used.
scripting for artists, there's about
Yes.
11 videos you can go through to figure it out. Very nice.
Yes.
I need to go through this as well.
This is
Wow,
very useful.
it's amazing how you managed to get into it. So you mentioned that you saw a need as something that you wanted to do, and you also were motivated in it to a financial aspect. A little bit unfortunate that right now it's no longer your motive as what it used to be because you got tied up with your other work. If you were
Yeah.
given the option, would you return to working with add-ons?
Yeah. I do hope that I can return to work on add-ons, but my add-ons is all now free, so it's no longer sustainable for me to like go back. And I already made like most of the ideas that I think is useful for myself. So I mean, I probably will just I will still create add-ons, but probably not financially motivated as much. Maybe a bit of extra income, maybe, but probably not as a main thing anymore.
Right, so it's kind of like a side thing and a hobby that you would do for the pleasure of doing
Yeah,
it. Gotcha.
yeah.
Interesting. So, if you, with that business model working with your add ons previously, what would you have done different?
Done different on
Yeah, with concerning managing your add on business model.
add-on business model. What would
Yeah,
I have done different? As
correct.
in,
Well,
how would I price my add-on?
yeah, how would you price it or how would you work it? Would you make it more intensive or would you pull back? What were the things that you learned and what were the things that you would like to improve with your experience making these add ons?
Hmm. For my add-ons, what I could improve. I probably, well, some of my older add-ons, well, it's older, so the code is a bit messy. So I probably would want to like upgrade my old code, especially the frame ranger. Well, it's working, but the code is actually very hard to manage because I tried to be smart with my add-on, quote unquote smart, which make it worse, harder to maintain. So for the add-ons, the main thing I'm trying to do some changes on right now is frame ranger. I'm thinking of creating a separate add-on which is extracted from Frame Ranger, because the main feature of the Frame Ranger, most people get Frame Ranger because of the Action Manager, right? So currently I want to create Frame Ranger is like multiple different add-ons bunched in together. It's like a bundle, so it's quite bloated. So and it start to become quite hard to maintain. So currently I want to create a separate add-on that extract only the action. I want to split the Blender Frame Ranger into multiple add-ons, and um and the main one is the action manager, where it's only the managing the action. So it's like the add-on becomes more specific.
It's
And
more about animation.
currently, yeah, and currently Frame Ranger does not have cannot support library overrides. So that was my goal as well. So in the extracted version, the upgraded version, which I call Action Commander, still work in progress. That one I want to try to make it support for library override, which a lot of people requested. And yeah, the Frame Ranger. Yeah, so the main thing is Frame Ranger. Yes.
Very nice. So that's your current project at the moment. Is the
Yes.
commander, the action commander.
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
Do you have a time frame for when this is coming out? How long does it take you to make an add-on typically?
previously when I was working on full time, I mean I can just crunch out an add-on in a week if I want. uh but like for Frame Ranger is taking much longer time because the code is quite messy. But for other add-ons like Radiant, Human Primitive, Viewfinder, all those I think I can done it in like a week. But that was when I was doing at full time, and when I was doing when I was at my peak where I can write code really fast. But right now I can't write code as fast anymore because I'm quite rusted a bit because I didn't write as much code anymore. But I still can write them. And uh, so as for Action Commander, I can't really give a time frame because nowadays I only work on weekends, and sometimes I couldn't work on all weekends. Like only
Yes.
some weekends I can work on it.
Sometimes
So
there's friends, family, things to do, a little
yeah,
trip. The weekends is your day
yeah,
off. I
yes,
understand this completely.
yeah. So so for Action Commander, it's probably uh, it's out when it's out, I guess. Yeah.
It's incredible to find. Like I was expecting. You've been one of the developers I kept an eye on, and I've been saving up my add-on budget to buy some of your add-ons. But then I discovered that a lot of them were free, and it's like, oh wait, I mean, I'll still probably purchase them soon.
Mm,
Just like I did with Frame Ranger.
uh-huh.
But it's nice to know that they're also free as well for the community.
Yeah.
So you mentioned when you were working full time that you worked also with supporting your add-ons, talking with the community, that people gave you a lot of requests. How did you
Yeah.
manage your, I guess you could say, customer support?
Customer support. Mainly it's on. I have a Discord server where if they encounter any bugs or they have any feature requests, then they can voice it out in the Discord server, or they can just directly, because previously my main place is Blender Market, so most of them actually contact me from Blender Market using the customer support contact me feature.
Is here.
Yeah.
I see it. Good.
Yeah. Mm.
So I'm starting to create add-ons. I do development for Bforartists sometimes. I help work with DevOps. And just before this meeting, we're talking about Ayad. You talked with him before and his projects that he's done. So
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into add-ons and wants to get into the market with the community, with the Blender community, and get into that concept? What do you recommend?
As in getting started at writing add-ons?
Yeah, getting into that
Mm,
industry or getting into that market.
So, well, hmm, the main thing I think is if it's come to learning, a lot of it you will rely on the Blender API a lot, and the console. The console is your best friend. And well, that two videos is what give me an head up, which is the Darkfall videos and the scripting for artists. If you watch those, then you can learn a lot of things on how to create an add-on. And yeah, if you want to make money from add-on, well, the best place is probably Blender Market. You can sell it on Gumroad as well. The Blender Market takes quite a lot of cut, but the good thing about Blender Market is you don't need to put too much effort on bringing in customer because the website have traffic. As if you use Gumroad, Gumroad takes a smaller cut, but you need to bring in your own customer. So depend on which route you're going. Like for example, I don't have too much of an audience, so I mainly rely on Blender Market when it comes to people buying my add-ons. Yeah.
Makes sense. I've been going
Yeah.
through your add-ons presentations. I understand very well presented. The GIFs, the renders, the images, documentation, super well done.
Oh yeah, it's important to show how your add-on works. A lot of I think, in my opinion, looking at Blender Market, because I was a add-on freak, so I basically collect add-ons in some way, and ended up never use them. But I think when it comes to add-on, in my opinion, the add-on that sells well, this is from my observation, the add-ons that have assets and add-ons with they are more modeling related. I think. Looking at Blender Market, the best-selling add-on looks like it's Box Cutter, which is modeling add-ons, which I don't make because I'm not as good when it comes to mesh manipulation. And another one which is assets, because well, assets brings a lot of values. So but assets, well, it needs to be high quality, and it takes time to create, so I don't do those as well. So that's why I mainly work on if you look at my add-ons, it's mainly related to rigging and animation, because that that mainly doesn't require too much assets. And when it comes to how to say, oh yeah, when it comes to rigging and animation related, well, that one is a little bit hard to present. But yeah, I tried my best to present my add-on, because the animation and rigging is not as flashy as modeling and add-on with a lot of assets. Like add-on with a lot of assets, for example, like previously there's like the grass vault and like a vegetation, like those. Yeah, something like that.
Those are the popular ones, but they require higher investment to actually create the asset.
Yes.
Makes sense. It's really your other add-on about the lighting one is Radiant is also very cool.
Oh yeah, that one is mainly it's basically geometry nodes with a fancy shader on it. Like it uses a lot of the Fresnel shader, so it's like creating a fake volumetric lights using geometry. So this is really cheap. As in it's like a fake volumetric lights without actually being volumetric. It uses geometry node to create a shape, and the shape will follow the shape of the lights, and then the rest are basically shader nodes, so that it looks like some sort of foggy look to it.
Very nice. Yeah, it looks very stylized as well.
Yes, because if you want a lot of bling, this is very useful. You want to play with lights, yeah. Because volumetric is quite expensive in Blender, right? Like in cycles or EV, or in EVs, you will get like the stuttering, and in cycles, well, if you turn on volumetric, your render time probably like multiplies. So this is like a good good in between. It's not it's not true volumetric, but it looks like volumetric.
Use this. We have a comment by I'm kind of drunk, and he wants to elaborate on that.
Elaborate on.
I'm just curious. I'm gonna invite you back onto the stage. I'm kind of curious what you say.
Yes, I want to. Oh, you mean the I'm kind of drunk comments? Okay, then let me read that.
No, hello.
So you
Hi.
want to elaborate on what thing?
Oh, because Blenderboi said that he has way too many add-ons, but at the same time he also has some useful add-ons. I want and I want to elaborate on that because I feel that I should be using some add-ons while I'm not. For instance, like hard ops and box cutter, because they would really help me to do like repetitive things that I always end up doing. But at the same, I always have the other types of add-ons that I like. For instance, like Boolean after bevel and other really a lot of other ones that I didn't even touch and won't even fiddle with them. And and the same time, so like three cases. Like one is like not using the add-ons at all. And the second one is having an add-on for everything, like even for simple stuff. And the third case is like having a special need that no add-on out there covers yet. So like how to start making your own add-on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Let me see if I can.
So
it's like.
So you want to? Huh?
Sorry. You go for it.
I'm sorry.
You have the microphone.
Oh, okay. For my for my case, like if I specifically want to want a function or something, because I know how to create an add-on, so I usually would just write it myself if it's something simple. If it's something advanced, then I would go look for add-on if I need. But well, I now no longer using Blender as much anymore, so I couldn't say much on that. But if it comes to Blender add-ons, well, if for example something like the box cutter, if it helps, then that means it's worth it, I guess. Are there? I'm not sure if I like.
I guess. How do you know what is a good add-on to make? How do you know which one is going to be useful?
What is a good add-on? Okay, so the way I decide what is a good add-on to make is if I would use it or not, I guess. I mean, I'm nowadays I don't use other add-on as much. I mainly use my add-on only mostly, and if I need more features, I would just add them, I guess. So I create add-on based on my need mainly. So I'm kind of like hit a ceiling when it comes to Blender add-on creation, because I already created what I mostly needed. So that's why I don't create much add-on anymore. You get what I mean? So like when it comes to Bonera, I get the inspiration of creating Bonero after I learned rigging. Like I see the add-on have a lot of very repetitive things that that can be automated. That's why I created Bonera. It's like a toolkit for many things, for Frame Ranger, because I used to do like game modding, and they used to have an editor similar to the Frame Ranger I have, which you have a list of animation that you can swap them really quickly. So that's where I get inspiration. And for Radiant, well, actually Radiant I create out of boredom. I just one day I'm bored, so I just want to create an add-on. That's why I created Radiant. And human primitives, that one mainly comes from that I think Blender could use a human primitive, so I created them. So yeah.
Oh, wait. So Suzanne is not good enough for you? Is that what you're saying?
No. Suzanne is great, but
Oh, okay.
for
Not
I get you. I
human.
get you. I get you.
I mean, Suzanne is great, but it's only a head, you know. I need a whole body, right?
Yes, I
I need
understand.
a good base for yeah.
So a secret, if you look in the Blender repository, let me just quickly show you. They are planning to add human assets to the Blender Essentials library.
Yeah.
So it's coming soon.
Yes. That's great.
See, it's here in the lib folder. It's underneath source, the assets folder. Got a working folder in the brushes, geometry nodes, and base meshes. Animal and human base meshes.
That's really great.
It's coming in the future. We'll see. I've been also wanting to plan to add that to Bforartists. Oof, I've been busy these. These are the base meshes that they have. So that's coming to the future.
Yeah, that's really great. Wow, that's a high quality skull model.
Yeah, right here. Look at this one. Easy.
Yeah. That is really nice.
There's a normal map, I think. No, it's sculpt. Multi-res sculpt.
Amazing.
So that's coming to the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned you've been out of Blender for a while now. So
Yeah.
have you got any idea what's coming lately? New that has caught your attention?
Last time I remember Blender added viewport compositing. That's the last thing I remember, and after that, I just see the version getting more and more, and I get more and more lost track of the Blender updates because I no longer spend as much time following the Blender updates. When I was in uni, I almost watched the Pablo Vasquez stream almost every time when it comes out, but over time, Blender updates a little too fast for me to catch up.
Yeah, it is fast.
Yeah.
Every week I go do a merge from Blender to Bforartist into the master. And then we go through the logs and I have to comb through hundreds of commits that everybody's working on. Bug fixes, cleanup, refactoring, and sometimes something new.
Yeah.
I think the big new thing that's coming out just near future is the station note.
Oh, simulation as well. That's nice.
So that's coming out in 3.6. It is master.
3.6. Wow, that's fast. It's already 3.6.
That's right. And after that, 3.7, and then we jump to 4.0.
Yes. Blender is speeding up.
Speeding up. Yeah, I use the viewport compositor for my lighting.
Ah.
So someone gave me a tip on Twitter, like I use the black and RGB to black and white node. RGB to black and white instead of saturation. If I'm in my animation, I could use RGB to black and white. That will give me a hue contrast on my shot. And help me light my shots a bit better. All right, so other cool things that are coming out is also the ability to have better overrides, faster animation, better assets, essentials assets with curve nodes, more geometry nodes as always.
Mm.
Some better like drag off these nodes a bit better now, and just other details like that. Okay. Let me just check my time. It's quite late.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to invite you to take a look at the art that we have community. Here in the Bforartists server, like basically, we just did a recent release with 3.51. So this is just Blender 3.6.0 and 3.5.1 merged together into this feature. And I wanted to ask you, have you heard of Bforartists before? Have you used it?
Oh, I have heard of it, but I haven't used it, unfortunately, because I'm quite happy with how Blender UI is. So, yeah,
That's good. That's good.
yeah. But I think it's cool. But because I'm already used to the default Blender look, I have been using it since 2.7, so I'm like a right clicker. I don't use left click in Blender, so I even changed some of my key map to match the older version of Blender. So it's a bit it's quite a big change for me. So it's probably like things like I'm already used to the default Blender, I guess. So
Nice, you're old school. I started in 2.7 as well. Or 2.6.
yeah.
So do you use the Blender 2.7 hotkey map?
No, I just use the latest Blender
And
hotkey,
modified it.
and I just change the right click. My default Blender setting is this. I set the first thing I set is select with mouse button to right click, spacebar action to tools, and select all toggles and tap for pie menu. That's like the first thing I do when I install the fresh Blender.
I noticed that with your viewport add-on, viewfinder, there was one of the you had to change the widgets into instead of click drag onto press.
Yeah, that's true. I
Uh,
don't quite remember why, but yeah, for some reason, if I don't choose that, it will cause some problem. Yeah.
so,
Yes.
okay. So, when you were creating add-ons to satisfy a need, what would you like out of all the features that you've developed? What would you love to see developed in the master of Blender?
What feature I would love to see in Blender? Let's see. The main thing would be, I guess, as like you mentioned that the Blender is going to add assets, right? But those are pretty high poly. Like I wish there's a simpler, like the more lower poly, like kind of like Suzanne level of detail level, kind of human primitive. And instead of putting in asset browser, they put it in the add menu as well. Instead, where you can just shift A and just add. That's one of it. And I guess another thing would be nice is to have. I hope. Wait. What I wish to be in the main Blender, right? I think I wish they can merge the timeline editor and the dope sheet together.
That would be nice.
Because, yeah, because the timeline editor feels kind of redundant. It feels like a dope sheet with less feature, but there's some one or two features that is stuck in timeline that is not in dope sheet. So it's like it would be nice for them to merge together.
I noticed that your frame ranger light or your frame ranger add found this some degree.
Yes. I basically put some of the buttons into the other editors.
which was a nice toggle that you can. Timeline utility.
Yes.
That's up here. That's cool. All of the editors.
Yeah.
So it doubles up if the timeline is. But then I could change the editor to toolbar. Range, give him buttons there. Okay. Interesting. All right, so maybe I'll work on some assets for Bforartists in the future because we also have a default library as well, but none of them actually have models yet. We just have materials and some node groups from collections, lights, color checker model. That's about it. Those are the things that I'd work on that. Hoping to get a lot of features done for the future. For now, recently, just Bforartists 3.5 is just basic. A bug fix update with like 22 or 26 bug fixes from us, 59 from Blender. Plus all the Blender 1.6. Though it may. Okay. So the art that we have today. So you mentioned you've before you did a lot of 3D work and the art that you've done, the animation, the game asset production. Do you animate yourself?
Not exactly, because previously, well, I studied animation in uni, but I ended up didn't really do much animation work. So, so that's a bit weird, right? So, but I mean, I used to do some animation as a hobby before I go to uni, where I do for modding, but those are like really basic, low quality animation, where I just do for fun. So I don't think I did much animation. Even if there's an animation, it's mostly just for showcase in my add-on. You know, like a demo animation in my add-ons. Yeah.
Yeah, because the gifts here, they're all great. Standing idle, walking, swim, jump, they're fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you also worked with rendering as well?
Rendering. Rendering. Oh, rendering. Yeah, I know a thing or two about rendering in Blender, but not too much. Like I know how to render okay looking image in Blender. I enjoy doing more stylized stuff in Blender. That's why I don't do much realistic stuff. So yeah, I rendering. Well, mainly if you look at the Radiant add-on, basically those are where my rendering is at.
Comes in. But I like your rigging tools. So I guess it comes down to the development of developing your add-ons to fix a need when it comes to animation, rigging, some lighting, assets,
Yeah.
and also workflow. The ones that I noticed that
Yeah.
really spoke to me were the collection add-ons, the add-ons for managing like your favorite collection, managing a command on selected, which I found kind of cool because then you could just loop a Python command on all the selected objects. And yeah, that's renaming.
That's basic. That is basically a for loop, but with UI.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the other day I saw someone recommend the Vertex Group Utilities app. I think it was the developer by Haircards. He recommended his documentation, which cool.
Vertex Group Utils is like one of my. It's my first add-on that is more than $10. So like it's my first profitable add-on.
Perfect.
But the code is quite old, so I don't really touch it as much anymore unless there's a bug. So yeah.
And does it still work with the color attributes now that we don't have Vertex?
Oh, I will have to double check on that. Hmm. Because I haven't touched this add-on for like quite some time, so Blender now don't no longer have vertex colors.
No, well, kind of. They
Oh,
do, but they're just different. So in geometry
ah,
nodes, like let's load up a scene that I colors.
well then
Okay.
it's time for some bug fixes for vertex group utils.
That's right. So let me pull up a character. Let's, for example, this robot here. Here I have him. Instead of using vertex colors, we have attributes. So in the
Hmm.
attributes, it's almost the same. Like we have these color attributes or whatever that but
Mm.
there are now 4 types: vertex color, face corner byte color, face corner color, and vertex byte color.
Mm.
So
But
one,
is the underlying API changed a lot?
um, a little bit. So for example, to remove the color attribute, it's still, well, instead of vertex color, it's color attribute. Move. Those things have
Mm.
changed. I'll have to test your
Yeah,
add-on to see.
yeah. I'll have to test it as well.
Yeah, basically they just added the ability to change it to 8-bit or 32-bit and store it on the face corners or vertex. So face corners is
Mm.
great because vertex colors you used to be able to only store it on a vertex, which would shoot out on the 3 different board, not splitting out point. But when you set it to a face corner, you can paint just one particular corner of that edge, all of it.
Mm.
Top of that, if you're using Bforartists brush panel as well, if you can brushes, a list of brushes.
Ooh, nice.
So we have a question by Kinda Drunk as well. He's asking, do add-ons work straight from Blender into Bforartists? In theory, yes, unless they have problems with the latest version of Blender. Because typically we're about using the developer build is 1 week behind Blender. If you're using an official release, it's about the same as Blender, but it does have the next version's code in. So it's about 3 weeks. I think Blender takes 3 or 4 weeks before they branch out from their official branch. There's maybe of code difference. In general, not a lot happens. Sometimes an add-on breaks, but it usually breaks when it doesn't work. Time. If you're using an add-on for Blender or Bforartists, check it in Blender. If it crashes, probably not up to date, not working artists. Maybe it's a problem with the GUI, but in general, most of the and the underground code is identical. All right, so the art that I'd like to show you today is by, look, first piece today is done by Chris Brid. He created this render of a sky. And yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what's your first impressions of this piece?
Oh, this looks a little empty, I guess. There's not there's no main focal point. But is this a sky or like a Earth? This
It's an
looks kind
Earth.
of like in space.
Yeah, up in orbit.
Mm.
I think this is more of a technical piece where he managed to render the volumetrics of the clouds as if they were real clouds.
Ah.
It was impressive. I've known Chris's work from Samuel Krug's Discord server. They specialize in space renders and other things
Ah,
like that.
space renders.
For the lens flare, Chris is pretty good with his lens flares. But you're right, there is no particular hero other than the actual atmosphere is the hero. So we have another piece here done by Wolf, which is an actual product of Fantasy Landscapes. I guess But last week we had a talk with Yusuf. Yusuf was with us, talking with about his renders in vertical, about different pieces that he's been working on. And ever since since we talked last week, he's created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. It's almost one a day. So he has been on fire and he's been working very well with lighting. So I recommend you check him out from last week. So out of these 5 pieces, which one do you like the most, Blenderboy?
Can you show them all again? Because I think the video have a little bit of delay, so
Alright, let's take a look. So we have the first one here, which is from Instagram.
okay.
The picture of I guess it's kind of like a seaside with a whole bunch of trash, concrete wall, dark sky, but it's sunny, warm. The next shot is of called Queen Diana. There's a little flower in like a royal palace background. It's sitting in the golden light. Kind of looks nice. Another piece that we have here is another golden light piece, except it's more of a living room with plants and like this. And we also have a boat with a sunset, floating cube in 4 pieces.
Oh, floating cube. Is that a default cube someone deleted?
Yeah. On the adventure, he's trying to run away from being deleted.
Yes. I think I like the second one.
Queen Diana,
It looks.
the little flower.
Yes, I think this one looks really nice. Looks like something's going on there. Like the little flower at the center, and I wonder what's that flower is for.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like this. Was actually one of my favorites as well. Quite like this. I like how the palace is in darkness over there. Something terrible must have happened. Maybe they were running away. But another piece we have is done by Unofficial Tiwari. He did a quick little video he created here. So I noticed that with one of your add-ons, you had the ability to create a bone on all of your objects. This is with your old Bonera.
Yes.
So could you quickly explain to me what are the tools of this particular add-on?
Oh, so for Bonera, it's basically it's like a toolkit. So you can think of it like you have like when you want to like create something, right? You have one of it which is like the fully automated solution where you just click one button to create everything like Rigify, or you have a more like a manual approach, which is like you create like a little tool like a wrench or like a little hammer, screwdriver, some kind of thing. So this is kind of like what Bonera want to achieve. Bonera like want to create like it's for more manual workflow when it comes to rigging. It's like add a little utility, you know, like sometimes like you want to create a lot of bones on each of the vertex. Then this is what it's for. Like you like when it comes to rigging, manual rigging, there's a lot of repetitive work, right? So like this add-on is basically designed for something like that. Like if you want to create some weirdly specific situation, you know,
Yes.
and then you need a script for that, right? So it's like instead of like using a script, we can just see if Bonera have anything that solve your problem. Then if it solve your problem, then it's great. If it's not, then you can suggest that feature into the Bonera, then I would consider adding them. So it's like a lot of like small little feature that like for weirdly specific cases that you want, something like that. Like
love
you
it.
want to create bones on each edges or bones on each vertex. Like, you know, like sometimes you want to create something like a ragdoll or something, like you need like to create a lot of bones on for each objects or something like that. Yeah.
Seems like a huge time saver, personally. Adding these bone shapes as well, kind of really cool. A lot of it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for today, I suppose. So, Blenderboi, I really appreciate you connecting today. And it was actually really interesting to hear to see where you come from. I'm a little bit sad to hear that you're tied up with your full-time job and that you couldn't continue with the add-ons full-time. But I do hope work that you do continues to be gratifying and that more good tools come out or that these continue to mature. Because there you do fill quite a good niche and very capable of what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Right. So for those of you who are still around here today, if you have a question, we have maybe a couple of minutes left. If not, we will add that. I'll be here. And this time, today's a special exception due to the time. So if you're watching back on this, thanks for watching till the end. Next week, we'll be connecting again, but in this case at the familiar time, same place. And we'll see what happens. And also, there is a rumor that something competitive may come to this session in the future. Stay tuned. And thanks again, Blend, for everything you've done. For sharing your add-ons for free as well. I will still definitely buy one or two later on. But till then, thanks for sharing these. So I've shared your links also into the chats and server, so hopefully in the description as well you'll be able to see.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me here as well. Yeah.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. I'm really happy to get to meet you a bit, and hopefully I can talk with you more later in the near future.
Yeah. Me too.